So hello, can you hear me okay? Hi, my name is Fusho, for those I haven't met. Welcome to day one of our summer Engo session. We used to call it our Dai session, our longer one. It's the longer one out of the two. So we're just getting going, and there's lots of creaks and dustiness for some of us, and for some of us it's a brand new experience. I hope you stay. We got a ways to go, and I just want to encourage everyone to just allow the settling in to happen. You made it. We're here. That's the important thing. Everything else will take care of itself. And I really think no matter what happens, as we know, this will be a truly unique experience that will never be repeated. And that's because each of us in this particular combination is contributing to what will be a special week that will never be the same. We'll never have another session like this again. So we want to stay fresh and just remember what it took to get us here. And I wanted us to also acknowledge perhaps all the people that helped to get us here in our own lives, on this land, in this building, who set this all up, our families, people at work, a lot of people involved in this effort and this intention in these crazy times. So I think I just want to really acknowledge how special and precious this time is for us to gather. So we want to gather ourselves, gather our minds, gather together during the times when it can feel pretty chaotic out in the world, right? Pretty scary for some of us. Some of us can feel unsafe, dangerous. But I'm grateful that we're here and we have this container and we're safe and we're together. And I want to appreciate, obviously, so the Daughters of Wisdom. And we can't forget Enkyo Roshi, who isn't with us, but I know, Enkyo, I know you're going to watch or listen. So I want to say hello. And obviously you're here, and we're going to be, you'll be here with us all week as we're studying your dharma talks on the Heart Sutra. And I want to thank Shinryu Roshi for also enabling us to be here and carrying on the tradition that Enkyo established. So there's all these seeds that have grown and are very strong. And I also want to recognize our Shuso, Torei, for the excellent modeling and leadership they're showing and the commitment form they put together for us to practice with. If you haven't taken a look, do take a look at the form and share it with a teacher. And I was looking at Torei's letter to our Sangha. And in that letter, they bravely shared their dread and joy about serving as our practice leader for this period. And they explained dread because I carry a part within myself that never believes I'm good enough or up for the task. Thank you for sharing that. I think we all have a piece of that in us. And the joy, because it also means you get to spend more intimate time practicing with all of us and being part of the fabric of our community in new ways. And you encourage us by saying, may we reach deeply into our hearts together this practice period, a time of peaceful dwelling, to create together a place of healing for this broken world and the broken places within ourselves. And boy, is practicing with the Heart Sutra one way to do that, I think. So as we settle in and gather ourselves, you know, it can feel easy to lose our way. We might feel like we've lost our way. And collectively, to me, out in the world, boy, does it feel like we've lost our way. It's a lot of noise. So I think take advantage of this time to unplug and to refocus and to come home. And just some encouragement to trust the form, especially the first day. It can feel bumpy and rigid and strange and like, oh my God, what do I do now? And wait, what? And oh no, I'm doing it wrong. But it doesn't matter. Your sincere effort is why you're here, and that's what's happening, and this is your intention to be here. And we can relax into the form. We can just jump in and follow it and see what happens. So if we can just maybe let go of the idea of what it's supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, what I want to get out of this, or how do I do this, or they're not doing it right. If we could just put that down, see what happens. Let's see what happens. I think we know things will change. That's the only thing we do know. It won't be the same the next time we try to ring the bell. It'll probably be different the next time we have oryoki. And this sitting period will be different than the next. That's the only thing we do know, right? So I was going to suggest for this study text to kick us off, because we will be hearing many different expressions and, you know, shared stories and investigations of the Heart Sutra, and in particular in relation to the beautiful book that was put together by Howard Thorson. I just wanted to mention that Howard did the beautiful editing of the book. It's a collection of Enkyo Roshi's talks that she gave on the Heart Sutra for about over a period of a few months, about 20 years ago. But he edited it very painstakingly into 10 talks, and I think did a beautiful job with it. So he's a long-time Sangha member, Dharma brother, practitioner, and our executive director. And I just wanted to acknowledge his work on this beautiful book. And I wanted to suggest, instead of thinking about the Heart Sutra or reading it or, I don't know, trying to conceptualize it, that we actually don't think about it. And maybe we take this effort that happens here and bring it down here to what we call our heart center. And try to experience the Heart Sutra a little bit differently. Maybe investigate with some different ways to listen to it or to chant. Maybe from here instead. I'm pointing to the heart center. You know, maybe we can just be curious and see what happens if we just maybe listen from here or watch from here. We breathe into this space. It makes a difference when someone's talking to us and we're aware of this heart center, as opposed to just trying to think about what we're going to say next. Right? So when we say speaking from the heart and listening from the heart, it probably means something different to everybody, but for me, it's bringing this awareness down to this area and just breathing into it. And it really changed the way I'm able to be present. We might be surprised what happens when we jump in and chant the Heart Sutra from here. So this Heart Sutra, it's known as some say, a scripture that many rank among the most sublime documents of the human spirit. That's all. Just that. It is obviously the core, a core sutra, but it is chanted daily all around the world in almost all Mahayana temples in Japan and China and Korea, Vietnam. And it's been recited every day for 1,600 years or more. It said it's only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And Enkyo Roshi tells us in one of the talks, what Zen is about is practice. Just practice. You can't do it wrong. You just have to do it. And you have to do it over and over and over again. And if your practice is, I'm not doing it right, but I'll just do it some more, that's a great practice. And pretty soon you'll let go of I'm not doing it right. And pretty soon maybe you'll let go of I'm not, or I'm, and you'll just do it. And a great wisdom arises out of that. And that's all there is to it. Just that arising. And she always encourages us, when you chant, just chant. When you bow, just bow. Just jump in and do it. Allow it. Allow it to happen. Don't get stuck on this idea of emptiness, which is a very easy idea to get stuck on. And she says there's a tragedy in the translation of the word sunyata as emptiness. That's the Sanskrit word. Because it can sound like loss or vacancy. And we can go down a different path that way, right? No meaning, no nothing, just a vast, deep, echoing nothingness. But another way to look at it is as fullness. Thich Nhat Hanh says, it's the interdependence or quality where there's nothing separate. It means empty of a separate self. And Thich Nhat Hanh's newer, more recent translation of the Heart Sutra was titled, not the Heart Sutra, but the insight that brings us to the other shore. And Norman Fisher commented on it by saying, the Sanskrit word shunyata, usually translated as emptiness, could also be, as Shinryu Roshi said last night, no core. But the Chinese, searching for a word that might translate shunyata, used the character for sky. All dharmas are empty like the sky, blue, beautiful, expansive, and always ready to receive a bird, a wind, a cloud, the sun, the moon, or an airplane. And the emptiness of the Heart Sutra isn't always the emptiness of despair. It can be the emptiness of all limitation, emptiness of a boundary. It's open and released. Bernie Glassman said, emptiness is just everything, just as it is right now. And Enkyo Roshi says, but to see that clearly is to function in the world. So I think, yes, we could spend hours trying to conceptualize how all phenomena and products are products of dependent arising. But I don't think we need to do that. I think when we tune in to our heart center, we naturally notice arising and falling and coming and going in our own mind and then out in the world through our very precious lived experience. And our lived experience, when it feels painful and crazy, is the time when we meet that on the cushion in a safe space and investigate. You might have heard the name Joanna Macy. We've been acknowledging her passing. Her name is on the altar. I believe this was the 9th day of her passing. And so many of us are familiar with her writing and work. She's an activist, an ecologist. I think she's a perfect example of engaged Buddhism, but she spent many years working with people who are in despair about the state of the world, about fear, about nuclear war, but also about global warming and the environment. And she was doing this way back in the day and hoping, to help people with their despair, recognize what was underneath that. If they were feeling like the world is ending, what are we supposed to do? Nobody's doing anything. I feel helpless. She created a series of workshops over a long period of time that were very interactive with people, that she called, she wrote one book called Active Hope, How to Face the Mess We're In Without Going Crazy. And the work that she created through these workshops with other leaders as well was called the work that reconnects. And so it might last a day or two or a little bit longer, but it had 4 stages that she eventually came to. And she called them a spiral, so they were always interconnected. But it involved acknowledging gratitude for the world, expressing pain for the world, seeing with fresh eyes, and then going forth to make a difference. So I recognize some of this, the Zen peacemakers, approach to dealing with working with ourselves and then going out into the world and being engaged. And so I was looking at some of her writing, but she'll be with us this week for sure. She wrote that whatever the limitations of our life, we are still free to choose which version of reality or story about our world we value and want to serve. We can choose to align with business as usual, the unraveling of living systems, or the creation of a life-sustaining society. So I just wouldn't underestimate what we can be doing here for ourselves and for each other. She said, in World as Lover, World as Self, when we dare to face the cruel social and ecological realities we've been accustomed to, courage is born, and powers within us are liberated to reimagine, and even perhaps one day rebuild a world. And she encouraged us to not look away. Do not avert your gaze. Do not turn aside. The world itself has a role to play in our liberation. Its very pressures, pains, risks can wake us up, release us from the bonds of ego, and guide us home to our vast true nature. Or as Hakuin says, who Roshi Enkyo quotes throughout her talks, cherish the great mantra of your own nature. So I just want to encourage us to not think too much about it and to cherish the great mantra of our own nature. Let's start fresh every time we chant the Heart Sutra, every time we arrive on our cushions, every time we bow, every time we sit down for oryoki. Kind of like beginner's mind, but how about beginner's heart?